0.
Identification. Schools have
Now on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show, it's a lot of EKU talk. We've got the head man from the Colonel's football team here with us, Mark Gelder. Plus, Steve Lockmuller will join us tonight on the show as well. We are live at Jack Burford Chevrolet on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Sports fans, the wait is over. For the next hour, sit back and enjoy the ride on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Share your thoughts and opinions on the live feed on WBON TV, and stay tuned for everything you need to know about your local sports teams, college and pro sports as well. The Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show is served up by Buffalo Wild Wings and brought to you in part by the law office of Patrick O'Neill, Honchels, and King Brothers Used Cars. Now, here are your hosts, Michael Watkins and Samantha Burford.
We are live at Jack Burford Chevrolet. Samantha Burford, Michael Watkins, and that smell in the air, Samantha, is football season.
Oh, I thought you were going to say maybe hot dogs from the concession stand,
No.
ready for football season.
Yeah, I mean, it's football season is here. We've got EKU head football coach Mark Gelder. Coach, welcome on with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Now, you guys open up the season in, 10 days? I mean, we are just counting
Next
down
Thursday.
the time versus Valparaiso. Talk about how things have gone the offseason. I know you guys projected third in the OVC this year, which is where you finished at last year. And it seems like every single year you guys have been building and building and building. Now, third in the OVC preseason. Kind of talk about how things have gone this offseason.
Sure. The preseason, those polls are always just simply a reflection upon what was done last year.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much every year you look at the team that won it the year before is going to be picked first, and second is going to be second, and so forth on the down the line. But no, we've been building as a program, and we've got a lot coming back from a year ago. We've got some new faces that are certainly going to play a major part in our successes coming up fall. I think that we're going to be ready to take a big step forward this fall as far as success on the field. Definitely feel that this is our deepest team, feel that this is our most talented team, and the biggest and most important thing is that we are the most aligned from a culture standpoint that we've been since I've gotten here. Feel very, very good about this team from all those standpoints, collectively, from talent to being able to handle adversity with issues with injuries, and being able to handle adversity because we're all on the same page and believe in each other, and the players really believe that we're a great team.
Well, you look at the team you had last year, it seemed like you kind of came out of nowhere to end the season and finish strong. with
Four
the,
straight wins?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So now you've got that to kind of build toward. Talk about some of those guys that you have coming back. You got McCluskey at running back. The defense bring a lot of the guys on that
AP.
side of the ball as well, and that's the big name, Aaron Patrick.
Yeah, I think that we've got a lot of very experienced guys that have played meaningful roles for us and played at a high level that are going to be coming back. A number of guys offensively that you will see that are familiar names. You mentioned a couple. We've got Dale McCluskey back. He's gone for right around 1,700 yards in his career. He's always been a guy that's split time at the top. We've had him and somebody else the last 3 years. We do have other backs, but he's certainly going to be the guy who will get the majority of the carries this year. It may not be a 50-50 deal, but we do have other backs we feel really good about. Alonzo Booth, Jason Lewis, a couple other guys that have done very, very well for us in the spring and in the fall. We've got a lot of offensive linemen. We've got 10 guys that we feel comfortable putting in the game and competing at a high level. All of them are upperclassmen. We don't have any freshmen in that boat right now. A handful of tight ends. This is going to be the deepest we've been at wide receiver for sure. We've got 9-10 guys that can play for us when it counts. A couple that are probably a little bit in front, but we can roll those guys. We're going to be deep at that position, and then quarterback. We feel like we got a number of different guys that are playing at a high level right now.
One thing I want to touch on is the local guys. Trey Livingood, I think, transferred down from Marshall. You've got Landon White, who played at Madison Central. So you've got some local guys. Will we get to see any of them? I know Trey's kind of coming off an injury, so I didn't know if any of those guys might be, that's some interest to some of the local fans out there.
Yeah, no, we're really excited about these guys. Trey, unfortunately, we will not see early. He is coming off of an injury. He's still in the rehab process for that and not cleared. He was having a great spring before he had that flare up again. So we are expecting him towards the latter half of the year. The tough part's going to be at that point in time. It's going to be a long time since he suited up and put a helmet and shoulder pads on. I don't know how that's going to transition. Whether he picks it up quickly or whether it takes him a little bit of time to get back in the mix. We'll see when we get to that point. But Layden's done a really nice job. He's competing for the kickoff spot and the kicking position. So he's done a very, very nice job for us. I think he's taken a big step from a year ago. He's certainly someone that we can rely upon if he's thrown out there in a clutch situation.
He's got to be frustrated going back to Livingood because, he missed most of his senior year, with the injury. And so now it's
been
not a good start.
Every year, senior year of high school, got to play in the state championship game, but every single year it seems like he's had to deal with that
frustrated.
injury issue.
Yeah. Let's talk about the QBs because you guys definitely are 4 deep, obviously, or more in the quarterback position. You played 4 last year, and you got 3 out of the 4 coming back. So talk about that.
Sure. So we've got 4 guys that have started games at the Division I football level. 3 of them for us, and then 1 that's transferred in. So the 3 that are returning from EKU, we've got Parker McKinney is the guy that was a true freshman last year and finished out the season with 3 wins for us. Played very, very well down the stretch. A guy that was on scout team, and we were anticipating redshirting early on in the year, and then just through injuries and whatnot, ended up being our guy at the end and really did a fantastic job, especially with all things considered that he was looking at cards and not anticipating playing 2 weeks before he got thrown out there for live action. So he's done a great job in spring and in fall camp. Dakota Allen's a guy that started a number of games for us last year. He's also had a very good camp, dual threat guy, strong runner, has an outstanding arm. He's had a very good camp. I think he played his best football at the end of camp. Austin Scott is a guy that has played a lot of football for us, started games for us. Many of you guys remember he played very well against Kentucky a couple years ago when he played in a couple series out at that venue. So he's done a nice job throughout camp. And then Connor Blount's the guy that transferred in. He came in from Oregon State. He's a redshirt junior. Started 6 games out there at Oregon State and performed very well statistically there. And he joined us in January and was part of the team through spring ball and through fall camp. So we've got a number of guys that are doing very, very well. We're very, very close to naming a starter. We'll do that here in the next handful of days. But each of those guys, I will say this, the three that are returning, all three of them are playing at a significantly higher level than what we saw last fall. In my opinion, I think that they've all grown leaps and bounds, and this competition has been great. It's been a situation where they're all close. They get along really well. They all get the situation that they're all fighting for one spot, but yet you see each other. They'll be out there and helping each other and correcting each other. They're great teammates to each other, and that's
camaraderie.
Yeah, it is, and that's tough at it, especially at quarterback, where it's not like receiver where hey, I'm the 2. Well, you might play 40 snaps and I play 30, and a lot of positions that's the case where okay, I might be the backup, I might be the number 2, but if I play well enough, it might be a very equal split. Quarterback's typically not done that way. So as far as that's concerned, to see them still have a great bond and to help each other and to be great teammates to each other, knowing that coming up here soon, we're going to name one guy, and that guy's going to take a majority of the snaps. It's been great to see. It shows the character of each of those guys and how much they care about the team.
Now, the transfer, he had 60% completed passes and played in a big game against Ohio State. So, I mean, I don't know if he's the front runner. I don't really know. And you said you're going to name it soon, but that's pretty cool. I mean, he played
he played against Ohio State, 2 touchdowns, no picks. I mean, for his 6 starts there, threw 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 62% completion. I mean, it wasn't like he just started and did terrible or anything like that. I mean, really had pretty nice numbers. I mean, those are a lot of people would love to have those numbers from your
I was
quarterback.
impressed.
That's big time ball. I mean, it's Power 5,
yes.
and certainly the horseshoe's an intimidating atmosphere. I've been in there before, and to go out there and 2 touchdowns, no picks. I mean, so he's done a nice job. You don't think that he's going to walk in and be intimidated by any atmosphere for sure.
Pretty cool.
Well, speaking of atmospheres, you guys play in Louisville, the second game of the season. So talk about your schedule. You open up with Valpo, then you've got Louisville, and then you've got, I think, Presbyterian, Indiana State on the road as well before you come back to begin the OVC schedule. Yeah,
so we have I break it up a couple different ways when I just try to remember it all. I know that we've got 5 home, we've got 7 away. We play 4 non-conference to start things off, and then get into our conference play. So we play Valpo next Thursday night. Obviously, that is our main focus. That's really what we're gunning towards. We've done breakdowns on all 4 of the non-conference opponents in the offseason. That's pretty normal for us, but we are focused solely upon Valpo as far as anything that we're talking about with the players and what we're doing at this point in time. We're not going to get into them until we're 7 days out. I just don't like to spend too much time on one opponent. We're really focusing on us at this point in time, but anything that we're glimpsing ahead is going to be towards Valpo. But then we go to play Louisville, and again, our focus is Valpo, but obviously that's a game that in week 2 we've got a number of guys from Louisville. So, I mean, that's one that they're all aware of the schedule. They look at that, and they're excited that they're going to get to go home and play in front of many friends and family in their hometown, and even the other guys that aren't from Louisville but are from the state of Kentucky. That's a big game for those guys. And then after that, Indiana State, they're a preseason top 25 team in the FCS, and that's going to be a huge game as far as all of the playoff stuff. If you win the conference, you have an automatic bid. But and that's our plan, is to go down that road because you control your own destiny at that point. However, if something doesn't play out that way and you don't win your conference, then the games that you played outside of your conference start playing a factor in that, and in your strength of schedule and putting a resume together. And obviously, we're in a lot of preseason top 25s, and Indiana State being in a lot of preseason top 25s, that's a big game that can help build your resume. Then after that, we play Presbyterian at their place. They're over in North Carolina. Then we've got back-to-back home games, OVC games in Tennessee State, Tennessee Martin, a bye week, which is about right. We're going to need that bye week at that point in time. And then we go 6 straight before playoffs start. So 6 straight OVC games. Really excited about the schedule. I think that we've got very challenging non-conference schedule to start things off, and wouldn't want it any other way. If you want to go to the playoffs, which we do, that's one of the things that we want to accomplish this year. If you want to make a run in the playoffs, which we do, that's another thing that we'd like to accomplish this year. You want to play some challenging folks that are outside of your conference early, and so we get that opportunity with those 4 games before getting to conference play.
Now, when you look at your home games, is there one that you have circled that you know will be a good test for you guys?
Absolutely. Valparaiso, the first one.
Yeah.
So we're
Or all of them. I was expecting it to say all of them.
That's true.
I'm not really that worried about the next one. Actually, I had to think about it. So we play Tennessee State. It would be the next one.
That would be week 5, I guess?
Yeah, week 5. So we're home for the first one. We're away for the next 3, and then home before our bye. So, no, we're really focused on Valparaiso. That's, again, we've got to win the first game and go from there. Every week you just put everything that you have into that game. You load your gun and shoot your trigger at that opponent for that weekend, and then you got to do it again the next, So, worried about what's next and all those things, they don't really matter. Obviously, I got to know what our schedule is and talk about it in these type of situations. But collectively as a staff, we're pretty honed in on
focused on game 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you've got a new offensive coordinator and a new quarterback coach. So tell us what you're most impressed with in your new offense.
Yeah, we got a handful of new coaches and very, very excited about the staff. I think that we've got an outstanding staff of men that are of high character and great developers of young men first and foremost, and then really good football coaches that really care about the overall big picture of them growing as men, as students, as football players. So we've got a new look to our offense. We're going to be more spread out than what we were a year ago. We're going to be a more balanced attack than what we were a year ago. We were very run heavy a year ago. We were not as able to spread the field out and utilize the full width of the field and some of our perimeter playmakers as well as we would have liked to. So what I've been very impressed with him is first and foremost his connection with the players. I think that he's done an outstanding job of building rapport and trust with not just the quarterbacks, but really the whole offense. That's really stood out to me quite a bit. Then next, I think that we've improved in a couple areas. I think that you're seeing a lot more explosive plays. Now, again, we're just going against our defense, so it's not necessarily you can't put stats on it right now because we're not going against anybody yet, but it's very obvious through spring ball and through fall camp that we're creating a lot more explosive plays, particularly in the passing game.
Yeah.
That has been a mark of just who scores more points. The next most important thing to win the game is asking about the team. I talk about the offense. I'm more of a defensive guy by nature. That's why I played. I've coached more on defense and offense, but everybody wants to hear about the quarterbacks and the receivers and running backs and so forth. So I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate the question about the defense.
All right, good.
So,
I score one for the
there
team.
you go. Absolutely. So, we've got a ton back on defense. We were very good on defense a year ago. We were second in the conference in most of the categories, including what I would consider the most important ones. So scoring defense, we were second in the conference. We were second in takeaways a year ago. We were second in total defense. So those are really key areas where we want to perform at a high level. We did really well on third down. We need to improve in our red zone defense. But we've got a ton of talent back from a year ago, a ton of depth, a ton of guys that have played major roles for us and impactful roles. Starting up front, you guys mentioned Aaron Patrick earlier. Aaron Patrick's on all those preseason lists as he should be. He's been very, very successful here throughout his time. He gets a lot of recognition for rushing the passer, and I think that's selling him short because I think he certainly is a very good pass rusher. But he's also really good against the run. I mean, he's our offensive linemen, our tight ends really have a hard time matching up with him in the run game. So he really is a complete defensive end. He's had a very, very nice fall camp. We're anticipating him taking a step forward this fall and playing his best football as a senior. I think we've got a lot of guys back on defense that we're excited about, other defensive ends that have played a big role for us. Taquan Evans is a senior. Trey Turner is going to be a redshirt sophomore. Both those guys played a ton for us last year. Those guys at the defensive end along with Aaron Patrick, and then a number of guys on the interior. Elijah Taylor. We have Sean Klesson back from a year ago. Leonard Humphreys played a ton a year ago. Quentin Floyd has really come on. He's been a guy that really hasn't played much. He's from Lexington, right up the road, and hasn't played much. He's been a guy that's has all this talent, and it just hasn't put it together. And I think he's matured. Jesse Williams, our new defensive line coach, has done a great job with developing him. I think he's ready to have a spectacular breakout year as a redshirt sophomore. So we've got a bunch of guys there interior-wise. We've got a couple guys at linebacker. Trey Moore's been very, very successful for us at Sam linebacker. Dawson Fitzpatrick is also going to play in that position as well. Steven Crowder's a true junior that's played a ton for us that we're excited about. Corey Glass redshirted a year ago, has been a starter before that.
Yeah.
Had an injury that required a surgery and really wasn't able to go until the end in that new redshirt rule where you can play 4 games and still redshirt. Yep. He took advantage of that and is back for a 5th year.
Okay.
He's playing. Brenton Irvin, he's had a very nice camp at linebacker. So a lot of experience there at linebacker back.
A lot of depth, too.
A lot of depth, absolutely. And then in the back end, Ben Bascom, he's been a staple around here. He's played a ton of football for us. We're excited about him. TJ Comstock, again, a guy that started for the last couple of years for us. Then two corners, Frank Sumter, Josh Hayes, we played 5 corners last year. Those were 2 of the 5 that played a ton. I mean, they both played about 300 snaps, played a lot of football for us. So I think we've got a ton of depth. I think we got a lot of experience. And then there's some other new faces. Lamar Davis, the transfer from Toledo. Micah Keels, the transfer from Richmond. These are guys that have played at other Division I schools that are coming in for their last year that we're excited about and think are going to be big contributors for us.
I want to ask you about recruiting before we let you go. Now, obviously, high school football starts this week. You guys get going next week. When will you really start to focus on recruiting for next season? I know coaching's a 24/7 job for you guys, but is there a date where you'll say, okay, now it's time to go focus on next year's squad and the recruiting class?
No. We recruit year-round.
Okay.
And I can't get into the specifics of names and so forth, but for next year's class, we have 17 commitments already.
Okay.
So we're almost done.
Okay. Do you shoot for a certain number each year with that?
It just depends upon the number that you have leaving.
Okay.
So we'll probably be right around 20.
I was going to say, you'll have a lot leaving, won't you? Because you got a lot of 5th years.
Yeah, we do. But we'll have a lot coming back. I certainly, we're going to take a step forward from what we were a year ago, but we're not hitting Everest. I mean, this is what we're building. It's it's going to be a step better every year is the way we see
momentum.
it. We're going to keep going in the direction that we're headed until we get to Everest, which is hoisting the trophy in January, and that's down the road. But until we get there, we're going to keep building this thing. But we're when I say done, I mean those are guys that are committed. It's not a final product because they haven't signed anything. But if we can hang on to these guys, I think we got a tremendous class. We only have a couple spots left, really, and that's where I say we're done. We're going to continue recruiting those guys, make sure that we are not going to lose any of them, but we only have a couple spots left. I mean, we've been recruiting this class very, very hard.
Okay.
That's our philosophy. I mean, we are we're going to start recruiting the next class. I mean, we'll be trying to get them 2 games this fall.
Okay.
The guys that are currently juniors that started their first day of junior school today, we'll be trying to get them over to games this fall and so forth. I mean, we work really, really hard at recruiting year-round. Really, that's what our philosophy is that players make plays, and they can make up for me being a dum-dum, me being me not being the best of the best.
We're never going to say that. Do you want to go to commercial? We haven't taken a break. But I got more questions. He had a big
we've got to have
weekend.
It's already 6:30. We've got to have Lockmuller on. I mean,
we got 2 more questions.
go ahead.
At
We got
least.
plenty of time.
We're just going to skip all the advertisements.
Well,
today.
we'll take a commercial break. We'll come back with Coach, and then we'll dive into some more questions with Coach Elder. Right back on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Escape to sports with Buffalo Wild Wings. GM Tommy Martin invites you to come watch your favorite team play at Buffalo Wild Wings, the best game day atmosphere and happy hour in town. Menu items as low as $2 each weekday 2 to 7 and again 10 till close. Plus wing specials every Tuesday and Thursday. Don't forget to ask your server about the Blazing Rewards program and see how you can earn free food. Buffalo Wild Wings, Richmond Center.
It's not a video game or something that's played on a screen. It's Chevy Youth Baseball, touching the lives of 8 million kids since 2006. It's local Chevy dealers giving back. Because every kid deserves a chance to play. We're not just the official vehicle of Major League Baseball. We're empowering the next generation of Major League hopefuls. Because Chevy cares.
We're back on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show live at Jack Burford Chevrolet in Richmond. Glad to have you along. Continuing to talk EKU football. And Samantha, you've got a question for Coach Elder about last weekend's event.
Yes, you guys had a big weekend with the Shriners.
Yes.
Oh, how fantastic was that?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a great event. I really think that our players got more out of it than anybody. It was a ton of fun. So we had partnered with the Shriners. We'd gone up there twice during the summer where we had brought different groups of players, and we bussed up there and walked around and visited with a bunch of the young men and women that were there at Shriners, and then did that event on our field, and our players were just, first of all, I thought our players did a great job with it. I was very pleased with how they handled the whole deal. They just ran with it and had a blast. I think the kids all had a blast. It was a lot of fun, and that really is something that's important for us as a program. We very much so want to be involved in the community and give back. We certainly want the community to come and support us, and we want to be a part of supporting the Richmond community, the Lexington, the whole Eastern Kentucky area, and try to do as much as we can. Last year or 2 years ago, we did over 600 hours of community service as a
awesome.
football program, and that broke the EKU record at the time for football as far as most community service hours that the football program had ever done. And then last year, we did over 1,600 hours of community service. And then the Shriners deal, that was something that, because we do a lot of different ways of doing community service, but that was something that our players really wanted to do as far as being around some younger kids that might be going through some tough things and difficult times. So that was something that they were very, very excited about, and we had a list of who could go to the Shriners, and we had to cut it off at a certain point because
that's a good problem to
have.
It
was, and we had a list. Yeah, we had a list of because how many people could fit on the deal, and I mean, we over doubled what that cutoff was going to be. I mean, it was spectacular. And then we had almost all of our guys out there at the event the other day. I think it was a spectacular event. Very, very fortunate that we were able to partake in it.
They toured your facilities. I mean, they
Yes.
had a little football lesson.
Absolutely, yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah, we did an hour and change on the field with our players running drills, and I think everybody had a blast. I talked to a bunch of the parents just walking around, talking with a bunch of the parents, and there were several parents that said this is like the Super Bowl for them. This is like the best event of the summer for them.
Don't ever forget that for sure.
That's what I was thinking, both sides.
Well, I was going to say, who won't forget is our kids, our players. Our players won't ever forget
Giving
it.
back,
So,
it's
it's especially in that situation, it was, I thought, a really, really good deal for us.
Well, you were talking about community support for you guys as well as you all returning the favor. But, for fans out there that maybe haven't gotten to see you as a head coach, haven't been able to come to a game the last couple of years, what would you say to them to get the butts in the seats this year? Because, you see it every year. Everybody's all excited. Season starts, and then as the season goes along, it's just like, I don't know if it's the colder weather or whatever the case is, but you all finished the season strong last year, and the fans need to get out there and support you guys. So what would you say to fans to get them out there this year and get them in the seats?
Yeah, well, I think that first and foremost, we've got a spectacular team of young men that you want to believe in and you want to support. Again, the thing I just said a second ago, $1,600 of community service, that's just a piece of the pie that would say something about our kids, our young men that are on the football team. They are outstanding young men that if you got to go and meet each one of them, you would say, I love this group of young men. They do things the right way. They're not perfect. I'm not saying that by any stretch, but they are awesome to coach. They're awesome to be around. They're just very positive, energetic people that want to excel in the classroom, want to excel on the football field. So you can believe in the young men that are in the program, that they're the right kind of kids to support first and foremost. Second, we're going to be a darn good football team this fall. So you're not coming out there to support a bunch of great kids that stink. You're going to be coming out to support a bunch of great kids that are going to beat up on a lot of opponents. I mean, we're very excited about this football team. We're very optimistic about this football team. We certainly think that we've got the opportunity to have a special season and do some things that maybe haven't been done here in a while. And that's because we've got great kids that love the game of football. They're really good at the game of football, and they have worked their tails off since January until now to put themselves in this position to have an outstanding season. So you're going to come watch an exciting brand of football. We're going to be an offense that's going to put up a bunch of points. Our defense is going to be stingy. It's going to be a lot of fun to come and watch and be a part of it. And the other part is listen, Saturday afternoons are meant for football.
Yeah.
They're not meant to sit in your living room and have a TV on. Let's not be hermits. Let's go out and experience. I mean, life is meant to be experienced with other people. Come out to the game. If we play at noon, get there at 10 o'clock.
Yep.
Bring all your friends.
Colonel Walk and everything.
Yeah, bring all your friends. Go have fun and enjoy each other. Tailgate before the game. Come in, act like you're 18 to 22 years old again and have the time of your life.
High five the Colonel.
Absolutely.
The cheerleaders, dance team.
Have a blast. And then after we go win, go back out and tailgate and enjoy your friends' time. I mean, that's what life is supposed to be is events. It's not to sit on your couch and watch. You can watch 30 games, but that's not living life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
With phones and the technology nowadays, you can watch a game on your phone while you're at the game, or you can listen to Greg while you're at the game. I mean, that's what I like doing, too.
Or you could leave your phone in the car
there you go.
and just cheer your tail off
just
for
go
the
crazy.
Colonels that are out there on the field. You know what I mean?
That doesn't make you excited about EKU football.
I've always said it. Every time I've interviewed Coach Elder, going back to the first year he was here when we interviewed him at Beat Up, so like 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it was, it just – he always makes you excited. When he leaves, it makes me want to put this helmet on. And now, not me, because I was never a football player. I might mess my hair up, too.
I'll wear it.
He makes me want to go out there and play some football. That's what every single year, whenever I get done interviewing him, I'm ready to put the pads on. So that's why I like you right before football season starts. We got high school football this weekend. But I'm just ready for football season now.
I'm
and
ready
that's what he
too.
does. He's
And
so
you know this man is
energetic.
ready.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
This
He's ready to
man
put
is
the pads
ready.
on. I'm sure those guys are ready to hit somebody else and themselves. For sure. That's a big
Absolutely.
thing.
The last couple of days of camp was a little chippy. They're sick of seeing the same faces. They're ready for somebody else.
My
You
wife's
can't
the
wait
same
for
way with
Valpo.
me. She's tired of seeing the same face all the time, I think. But
Well, we are extremely excited, and we're very thankful that you're here.
No, thank you for
Super
having me.
excited.
Now, before we let him go, Coach said he's not really interested in all the preseason polls and everything, but we do have the Law Office of Patrick O'Neill Facebook poll that we do every Monday. And our question today was, with the EKU being projected to finish third in the OVC, which is where they finished last year, do you think the team will finish higher or lower this season, with being first or second or lower than the 3 seed that they are projected to finish? And 54% say first or second. So some folks around Richmond kind of high hopes on the Colonels again this year, and hopefully we can get above that. Again, Coach don't pay much attention to that, but that's where the national media has them picked right now. And Colonels looking for big things this year, and they will begin the season literally in 10 days, 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 20 seconds on the dot.
The website
as they
has
will
the
take
countdown.
on Valparaiso at home. And for more
7 p.m.
For ticket information,
Yes.
we'll talk to Mr. Lockmuller about that here in just a moment as we bring him on the show as well. So,
It's
Coach,
easy.
thanks for coming on. We'll keep up with you, and be glad to have you on the show anytime this season to update us and see how things are going with the Colonels.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me on.
You're
Good luck this
very
season as the
welcome.
Colonels take
We're
on
excited.
Valpo in, again, 10 days, 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 57 seconds now against Valparaiso. We'll take a short
Got
commercial
the
break.
countdown.
When we come back, Mr. Steve Lockmuller will join us to talk about
AD is in the
EKU
building.
athletics in general. We'll have him on here in just a moment, folks, live at Jack Burford Chevrolet. This is the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Escape to sports with Buffalo Wild Wings. GM Tommy Martin invites you to come watch your favorite team play at Buffalo Wild Wings, the best game day atmosphere and happy hour in town. Menu items as low as $2 each weekday 2 to 7 and again 10 till close. Plus wing specials every Tuesday and Thursday. Don't forget to ask your server about the Blazing Rewards program and see how you can earn free food. Buffalo Wild Wings, Richmond Center.
It's not a video game or something that's played on a screen. It's Chevy Youth Baseball, touching the lives of 8 million kids since 2006. It's local Chevy dealers giving back. Because every kid deserves a chance to play. We're not just the official vehicle of Major League Baseball. We're empowering the next generation of Major League hopefuls. Because Chevy cares.
Chevrolet Sports Show, and Samantha's super excited to have Mr. Lockmuller on the show with us and talk some EKU athletics. Obviously talking EKU football this already, but before we get into all this, I want to say welcome to him. I think this is the first time we've had him on the show.
It is the first
It is.
time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the invite.
Well, Samantha, obviously before we get into the other things, football season, kind of give the folks an idea where they could go to get season tickets or to get individual tickets for individual games.
Well, it's fairly easy. We have a ticket office and we have hours over there, and basically open from 9 until 5 every day over there. But also you can go online, and then if you also go online, and there's a ticket, a telephone number that you can call into the ticket office. I probably should have that memorized,
I got
but I
it.
don't.
You got
Okay,
okay.
thank you,
That's what
Samantha.
Samantha's good for. She's got all this stuff.
844-3 Go Big E.
There you go. And you can drive down. If you drive down the bypass,
Yeah.
you can see it up on
I was
the
gonna say,
football
I
stadium.
was
So.
gonna
Yeah, or
say.
you can go to EKUsports.com. That's the easiest way to do it.
That's the easiest way to do
Listen,
it.
if Sean Hamilton can remember that phone number, we all
we
should be
got it.
able to. We got to give Sean a hard time, obviously. But football right around the corner. But you guys
We're
stay
excited.
busy all year long. Talk about some of the other sports that are going on right now with EKU.
Well, right now we're getting ready to kick off our soccer season. We have a soccer meet this week, and then we take and go out of town for a couple meets out of town. We just finished up our exhibition season in soccer. We played Miami of Ohio this past Sunday. Unfortunately, it was hot and we didn't fare too well. We lost 4-0, but we played a very good Miami of Ohio team. And we're young, and we've got a new coach this year, Matt Kosanuk, and he's going to do a great job, and I'm very proud of the team and what he's putting together. We also have volleyball getting ready to kick off their season. So Coach Jonna Fouch, our new coach, she's also one of our new coaches. She's done a great job bringing some young ladies in. And so we're very excited about the upcoming season and the re-emergence of our volleyball program.
Well, one thing I've noticed, you've hired the new volleyball coach, talked about the soccer coach, women's basketball.
Yes.
You hired Coach Hamilton, over a year ago now. Is the excitement that all of these new coaches have, not only to be at EKU, but for their respective sport. Is that something that you all looked for when you were hiring these coaches? Because it seems like everybody's got it. I mean, I was just talking to Coach Elder. It seems like every time I interview him, I'm ready to get on the football field and put a helmet
We're
on.
on the bandwagon.
But it just seems like all these new coaches have the excitement and a new energy to them with the program.
They do, and bringing in a new coach comes in a different situations. One, we can have a retirement, which has happened several times, but also we can decide to make a change. The one, yes, energy is something we're looking at. We want someone that's going to bring energy, who's going to recruit well, who knows Kentucky, and who can have an exciting brand of ball, whatever type of ball it might be, because it's a fan experience now. You know, it used to be years ago that you basically will looked at the W's and the L's, and that's still part of it, and we've got some work to do there, and we know that. But it's also a fan experience because there's competition for people's times today that we didn't have 10 or 20 years ago.
Now, let's talk about that fan experience. You guys have changed the name of your Colonel Fan Day. It is now ColonelCom.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. That's cool. This weekend, you're going to be busy.
Going to be busy. The marketing department, Rachel Park, who's also our senior women's administrator, has come up with that, and it's very exciting. We used to have it over on the football field. This year we're going to actually do it over at Alumni Coliseum and on the baseball. It gives us a couple different opportunities where we can have a turf experience over with the baseball field, but we can also have stuff on the inside, and it also prepares us in case there's weather that doesn't cooperate with us.
Which I think is what happened last year. It was raining last year.
It did.
And maybe some air conditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
A little bit anyway. Not a whole lot in Alumni
But you're going to
Coliseum.
have clinics for soccer and
yes, absolutely.
a volleyball scrimmage.
Volleyball team is going to scrimmage.
Okay, cool.
And allow some of the kids to get on the court with them. So it's going to be an exciting day, and we'll have obviously the blow-ups and everything for families. And absolutely.
And you can't forget the food: Apollo pizza, Kona Ice. I'm in.
You can't go wrong here in Richmond with the food.
No, you really can't.
Absolutely.
Everywhere's got it. I mean, that's no. We don't talk about Buffalo Wild Wings today, but that's there's a good chance that after this show I'm going to go over to get the burger because I usually have the show the burger before the show, but when we do it over here, I usually go after because I'm just hooked on the burger right now at Buffalo Wild Wings. But anyways, back to Colonel Con.
Well, and if
now you got me thinking about food, Samantha. So appreciate that.
You still have the Junior Colonel Club, so giving away free T-shirts that night. So pretty cool. Always want to get the kids involved. Get them early.
No, and that's one of the tasks that we have in front of us is that we've got a very loyal and dedicated fan base. But our fan base is a little bit on the older side. Yeah. And so we've made a conscious effort to try to recruit and develop a younger fan base here in Richmond and Madison County and the surrounding counties because, again, it's entertainment. And if all you do is have a certain fan base and that fan base goes through and they age, much like me, then that's going to be a problem. So we're trying to recruit and entertain younger families and younger people. And honestly, we want the students. I mean, the whole student experience is being around athletic events. And so we're very excited about this Thursday night, especially with the freshmen in on with their welcome, Big E welcome, and everything. There's going to be a bunch of freshmen there, and hopefully some upperclassmen, and we'll have a big, really exciting football game on the 29th.
Now, whenever you talk about how the season's opening up and everything, the tailgate is the big thing. Everybody loves to get out there and tailgate before the football games, and it seems like in the last couple of years y'all made a few changes to where the students are, where the Colonel Club members are. Talk about some of the changes you have made coming back to this year.
Yes. Well, there was a decision made in the administration to move the students back over to the alumni lot. And so we're very supportive of that. Hopefully the students, the reason we made the move last year was because we were trying to do everything we can to get the students into the game. But this decision was made, and we're going to be supportive of that. So actually where the students were last year is going to be our new RV lot. And we're going to move our RVs over there. So we're going to give that a try this year. We think everything will be just fine, and everybody will accept it. And we're going to move forward. And then if there's advice or suggestions or complaints or any of the above, we'll take that into consideration next year. But this whole decision to do that was a decision inclusive inside of the administration, including athletics. So we're going to support it in everything we can.
I seen Grant Stepp got a new position.
He did.
So talk about that a little bit. I know Grant's a guy that he's dealt with golf. I've known Grant for a long time.
Have you really?
So it's good to see him kind of upgrade a little bit and move up into the chain a little bit.
We are so blessed with Grant, and I'm blessed with all the people around me. They look so good, they make me look good. But
it's easy to do that whenever you got folks like that around, right?
You better believe it. Everything that one does in business and athletics is a business is about people. Yeah. It's a people business. So Grant is someone who came from us when we needed a new ticket manager from Western, and he's done an excellent job. He even took on more responsibilities last year with some of the external responsibilities that we have. And when the development position opened up, it was a move up for him, and we wanted somebody that was familiar with our ticket base, our donor base, and other thing. And Grant wanted the job, and it was a perfect fit. And so working with Dan McBride and Bettina over in development, it was a no-brainer, and we're very happy and proud to have Grant in that position.
Well, let's go to basketball. You guys made a big announcement today,
Yep.
I believe.
I'm just pulling it up.
All Kentucky teams in our state, EKU's playing. First time, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'll have to give credit to that to Coach Hamilton. He's very active in scheduling. He works with James Downer, who's our senior associate athletic director, and they've done a very good. I mean, we got a lot of tough games this year. We got Western at home, but we also have Northern Kentucky at Northern Kentucky. We got to go to Kentucky.
Yeah.
That's always tough. We got to go to Louisville. And Coach Mack's got them really playing well up there. And of course, Murray State's no slouch.
No.
They're the top runner right now in the OVC. And then of course, I got to give Moorhead credit. I'm not very happy about it, but I'm got to give Moorhead credit. They've owned us the last couple of years, and so we got to do something about that. I'm not too happy with that.
Well, you got all those games in about a couple of months, too. When you start with November against the game against Western, and then you end with the final game against Murray State on the 27th, and then Moorhead State on the 29th. That is a pretty cool thing, though, because you got all these teams either coming or going with the Colonels. And I like what Coach Hamilton has done, because he has made the basketball team, fun to watch, but then fun to be around as well, because these guys are they have such an energy themselves on the court that it makes you want to be a Colonel fan and get out there and support and watch them. I mean, that Murray State game last year, on the same night that Kentucky and Tennessee are playing in a big SEC matchup, the packed house inside of McBrayer Arena was incredible to see. I saw a shot, I think it might have been Kevin posted it on Twitter, of just a pan around the entire, and it was just incredible, the shot, that the full gymnasium to watch that game on the same night and the same time that Kentucky and Tennessee were playing up the road.
Was that when Nick Mayo made one of his many last-second
Not
shots?
That game. John Morant was.
Okay, it was many.
John Morant had a big game
times.
against the Colonels that night, but that's a guy that's going to be in the NBA now, top 4 pick, I think, or no, the number 2 overall pick. So
I mean, we're going to miss watching him, so it'll be fun watching him.
Well, I'm sure Coach Hampton's kind of glad he's moved on.
We all are. We all are. But, at least from our OVC experiences, he's brought a lot of excitement, and we're proud of him. We're going to follow him as well. But I'm very excited about the basketball as well. Coach Hamilton's come in and done a great job, and he's recruited the right people. We've elevated our recruiting. And so, what I ask of each of my coaches is come in and build a foundation. Don't come in and win the conference once every 6 or 7 years. I want every one of our programs to be competitive every year. We can't win it every year. That's not realistic. But what we can be is in the conversation, and so that's what I ask them. Be in the conversation so that each year Eastern Kentucky University athletics is going to be, whether it's soccer, softball, women's track, men's cross country, or whatever, be in the conversation. And I finally have, through the staff of the head coaches, you were talking about the different head coaches that have hired, I certainly hope that I don't ever have to hire another new coach. Now, eventually I will, because Coach Worthington will retire. But with her and the other coaches that have been brought in, I think we're on the verge of something special happening in the next several years athletically at Eastern Kentucky University.
Now, one guy that I want to ask you about, this is a guy that I've known since my time at EKU. I graduated from there in 2012, Hugh Davis. Do you work with Hugh pretty close? Now, Hugh's actually, when I first started doing this sports show in 2014, Hugh was actually my co-host. he just would come on. And he was more of my EKU guy. Some of the stuff that I didn't know as well, he helped me with. It seemed like every single Friday night we're in the booth together when he does stats for Madison Central, and I do the games for them. But just talk about Hugh. Guys like that are what make the programs at EKU just so much cool to learn about, because Hugh's been around for, I think he said this was his 30th year, maybe more than that. But he's been around for a long time, helping with EKU statistics.
He has been, and he's such a prince of a gentleman. No, we're just going to shut down the athletic department if Hugh's not around.
Good idea.
Him and Greg Stoudemire both. I mean, they've been around for so long.
They're both fantastic.
Both fantastic and great assets, and we're proud to be around and work with them. So, no, we've got a lot of people that way. It's athletics in today's world. You have the haves and the have-nots, and we're not certainly have-not. We are funded properly by the university as the best it can be, but we've got a lot of people that if they don't chip in and help us, we're not going to be able to run our games.
Yeah.
Good thing is we are running our games. We're going to continue to run our games, and like I said, I was talking to the president last night when we were all over at the student-athlete meeting at 9 p.m., and I think he feels like, and as everybody else does, that we're on the verge of something special here with some of the programs that have not been, doing the job and winning as much as they should. And that's your most visible pieces. Our cross-country team, for an example, our cross-country team is our best-known, nationally known team. I mean, we're in the top 25 nationally year in and year out.
I saw them running in front of our house today.
Yeah,
I think was it last year or the year before we had somebody competing on the Olympic team or close to it, or the national?
That was one of the gentlemen that was on the cross country team from Spain, and then another one from over in Europe that was competing with their country over there in the Olympics. I'm not so good on all those names after they go away.
Yeah,
I should be, but I'm not.
There's so many. You have seen so many student athletes come through. I'm sure it gets tougher.
I struggle. That's why I have notes, because I never can remember names. Michael knows it. I got to look down and get it.
Talk about how fans could maybe keep up with those. As far as where they could go to get information about those programs that you don't see a whole lot about.
Again, it's on EKUsports.com. I mean, Kevin Britton and the team over there. His staff do an excellent job, and it's almost like it's information overflow, but it isn't, because there's a lot of our fans that call us and they say, we want to be able to get information about things that are currently going on and future things that are going on, but also other things, events. I mean, I think I heard you earlier say something about Coach Elder and what the football team did with the Shriners Hospital. I mean, that to us is very meaningful. We hit a brand new record this year of over 3,800 hours of community work that our sports programs did, and the football team was the award winner this year for the community service. So that's the best way, and if for some reason you don't get it in the newspaper or on radio or anywhere else, just call us. We'll get you whatever you need.
Okay.
Because we want everybody to be a fan.
It's a great website, too.
Yeah,
it's very easy
It's easy
to
navigate. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Great.
We visited a lot for some of the stuff that
videos.
we do, and you got the guy that does your videos. So
David Miller.
David Miller,
Miller,
we work with David
that's
a lot during basketball season, just kind of getting highlights or whatever. And we've had to do some stuff during our basketball season with covering the 11th region tournament or the district tournament or whatever. He's kind of helped us with different things down there. And it's just, again, you don't see some of these people because they're behind the scenes, but this is what kind of helps the programs kind of ebb and flow and make them what they are.
Absolutely. David's done such a great job. I mean, he's he's also known for his announcing.
Oh, yeah.
And he has his own flair about how he announces things with the coaches and the players when he interviews them and stuff. So we're very proud of David and the job he does. And you're right. Most people don't understand what's behind the scenes, and especially now that we've signed a contract with ESPN, the OVC has, we're producing all of our men and women's basketball, all of our football, and then we have to produce and stream at least another 30+ competition, and we stream them all.
Yeah.
Because we don't want it just to be men's basketball, women's basketball, and football. We want, whether it's softball, soccer, or whatever, we want all of our 16 sports to be equally represented, and we're proud of that fact.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yes.
Well, we are out of time.
How does that happen every week?
Samantha's every single week. She gets worried we're not going to be able to fill to an hour, but then we get to the time to get off the air, and then that's whenever we got to get off the air.
I'm like, we can talk.
Yeah.
And so
But we really appreciate you coming on. And again, anytime you or any of the coaches want to come on the show,
would
feel
love to
free.
have
You got an open invitation.
Anytime
Love to have you
all
all
want
on.
us, we're
Okay.
available. And if I'm not available, I'll get somebody on here that is. But I'd love to come back.
Sounds good.
I'd love to come back.
We want to thank you to all of our great sponsors as well, Jack Burford Chevrolet, Buffalo Wild Wings, and the law office of Patrick O'Neill. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Again, EKUsports.com. Check out the website. Get the ticket information. The Colonels open up the season next Thursday
The 29th.
against Valparaiso at 7 o'clock.
7
I don't have
o'clock.
the updated time on me now, but we were counting it down during the show. But thank you all
Oh,
for hanging
yeah.
out with us. Thanks to Coach Elder. Thanks for Mr. Lockmuller for hanging out with us. And we will see you next Thursday, EKU Valparaiso at Roy Cade Stadium, and be sure to check out the Colonels this season as well. Exciting time to be an EKU
You
fan.
can put this on now.
Well, it messed my hair up, though, Samantha.
We're going to leave them with one thing, right?
Yeah.
Go Big E.
Go Big E. There you go. Again, for more information, check out EKUsports.com. For Austin Hanks, our producer on the TV side, our Jaden Johnson, our producer on the radio side. She is Samantha Burford. I'm Michael Watkins. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Escape to sports with Buffalo Wild Wings. GM Tommy Martin invites you to come watch your favorite team play at Buffalo Wild Wings, the best game day atmosphere and happy hour in town. Menu items as low as $2 each weekday 2 to 7 and again 10 till close. Plus wing specials every Tuesday and Thursday. Don't forget to ask your server about the Blazing Rewards program and see how you can earn free food. Buffalo Wild Wings, Richmond Center.
It's not a video game or something that's played on a screen. It's Chevy Youth Baseball, touching the lives of 8 million kids since 2006. It's local Chevy dealers giving back. Because every kid deserves a chance to play. We're not just the official vehicle of Major League Baseball. We're empowering the next generation of Major League hopefuls. Because Chevy cares.